What's up, guys? Um, First, shout out to Mockingbird Music. This is one of their shirts. Play what you want. It's a logo. Cool store. It's in Berlin, Mass. I gotta give them a shout out. It's a really cool store. Anyone who's in the New England, Massachusetts area, go to Berlin, Mass. Mockingbird Music. You gotta check it out. It's a cool private-owned store, small store, owned by a husband and wife, Barb and Glenn. Real good people, good store. I urge anyone to check it out. I don't work there. This is not an ad. It's just a really cool store. Glenn's a banjo player, really crazy good banjo, bluegrass, jazz, real knowledgeable guy. They both build instruments. It's a cool scene. You got to check it out. So shout out to Mockingbird. And All Things You Are is today's topic. Kind of a hard song, but this is sort of I just want to give you something to start with. So first up is diatonic theory, which I have to do a whole video on, but it's important to understand this song in terms of what the key centers are. And this is probably a topic for another video, but just to assume you have some knowledge, let's take the first bunch of chords. They're all in the key of A flat, and what it is relative minor to A flat is F minor. So that's the sixth chord. It's a chord progression 6. The B flat minor is the 2 of A flat. E flat is the 5, and then A flat's the 1. And then we keep A flat. That's the 4 chord. D flat is now the 4 chord. So all those chords fit into A flat major. So as it be sort of starting out playing this tune, I kind of lean towards arpeggio playing for, it's a little bit better to focus when you're playing changes because they go by so fast. But for starters, let's work with the major scales as a key center to get through the changes. So what's happening is the first thing I'm going to write out in tab is the A flat major scale starting pinky 11th fret, 5th string, and it makes this kind of C chord shape if you had a capo. That's a good place to, play the major scale. So as the changes go by, since they're all relative to this key, just to be able to get through the song in a basic way, we just need to know that. And then, after the D flat, it goes to G7, which is the key of C, the 5 of C, and then it goes to the 1 of C. So that's what we want to start with, is the A flat major scale right here, and then the C major scale right same spot off of the C on the 6th string. So those are the two scales I'll write out. And the way you want to practice it is tape, or have some type of backing track, even if you say the chords out loud on a tape. I have a backing track I'm going to use right now in Reason, just that plays a bass line. It's pretty cheesy, but so as the changes go by, the important thing is while you're playing the major scale, they're going to fit each chord, but you want to be aware of what's happening so that when it gets to the G, we switch scales. So in other words, we got F, B flat, still the scale, E flat, A flat, D flat, here's the G7. So that's when we switch the scale on the G7. Actually, I should use the backing track here. So we got F, B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, here it comes, G7. So on the G7 we switched. Again, F, B flat, just the scale. There's the 1, 4, now we switch to the C. Alright, so that's pretty straightforward. And so we're just, playing the scale, which, that's a whole nother matter, but, I'll do some stuff with how to play the scale, but for now, let's assume, you at least that'll get you started. Now, the second thing is, once you're comfortable with making the change there to C, I should say also, what happens after the C, Then it goes to the same exact changes, but in the key of E flat. So it goes to C minor, which is the 6 of E flat, and the 2 of E flat, 5 of E flat, B flat to E flat, and then the 4, and then it switches to D7 and G, which is key of G. So it's the same thing. So if we move down to the E flat major scale, right when we get to that C minor, everything you just did, it's the same right here. So it would be C minor, F minor, so the E flat scale, B flat, E flat, the 4 chord A flat, and then when we go to D7, you're going to switch to the G major scale, which is right, just like the C was off of the 8th fret, it'll be the same relationship, E flat, major scale, and then the G scale's right there. So everything you do here, you just move down to E flat for the next so many bars, and that gets you all the way to the key of G. So then the next step is arpeggios, which is, I think, is it. You know, ultimately you're going to want to be able to isolate the arpeggio tones. There's a Bach partita that actually follows these changes. It's in a different key, but put to this key, Bach plays same changes, F minor, and then he plays the third, which is a good exercise, playing the thirds of all the arpeggios. As the G7, the third of E. So I'll write that out too. So the next step is going to be the 7th arpeggios. So we've got F minor 7, starting from in this. It's all going to be the arpeggios that fit within this A flat major scale. So we have F minor 7, B flat minor 7, E flat 7, A flat major 7, D flat major 7, and then we switch keys, G7 to C major 7. Now what we want to do is take fragments. So we take the top 3 strings, say, or 4 strings, F, B flat, E flat, A flat major, D flat, then the G7, C major 7. And then, so, you know, one exercise would be, I'll write out some examples using fragments, then some examples from maybe the lower strings, just arpeggio fragments. F minor, there's the B flat, E flat to A flat, D flat, G, C major 7. And then we want to also take arpeggios, and you can combine them with scale tones too. So you have fragments of the arpeggio plus the remaining scale notes. You can mix it all up. I'll write out some examples of. I'll write out the Bach tune first. It basically just goes to the third of each arpeggio. So then we just take, after the C, we just drop down to, boom, C minor, and start the whole process over. All the shapes move down to the E flat scale. So we have C minor, 7, F minor, 7, B flat, dominant, E flat major 7, A flat major 7, and then we switch to the key of G for D7, G major 7. So you just got to move everything down to that position. So the examples that I'll write out, will illustrate how to kind of move through the arpeggios in some different ways, but be careful of relying on them too much, because I've made this mistake a lot. Is I'll learn like that Bach tune, it's in 3, but you can just kind of squeeze it into 4/4 just by putting a rest in. It's like, but you can you can squeeze it in, but then when you're actually playing the song, it just serves to kind of screw you up. You're trying to remember, what's the notes of that tune, and the changes. Sometimes it's faster than you would have practiced it, so you end up just fumbling up. Or any example you try to use to read literal, and it makes you think too hard, and next thing you know, the change is gone. And it's much easier just to practice, playing the arpeggios on your own, just seeing what comes out. If you try to remember lots of notes over changes, it ends up just being a big mess. I find it makes me play worse. This song's it's a very hard song. This is a challenging song, so that's a good place to start. Let me know if you want me to continue with the rest of the song or move on to some more advanced ways to think about the changes. There's a lot you can do, of course. Any tricks you learn, any 2/5 licks that would apply over the B flat to E. So the F minor, we get past that. Now we're just in a regular 2/5. B flat minor to E flat 7 to A flat major. So any 2/5 lick works. And then it goes to the 4 chord, of course, B flat, D flat Lydian. And then you switch keys to a 5/1, G to C. So of course that's any 5/1 lick, just work over that. Say like that bebop lick. C to and then boom, back to, so it's just 2/5s really, but it's 2/5s getting used to playing, setting it up first with the 6 chord. So F minor, then a regular 2/5, then the 4 chord, and then a key change. So there's more to think about, but it's essentially just 2/5s, because then after we do go to E flat, again we have the 6 chord, then the 2/5, there's the 5, 1, 4, then the D7 to G. Whoops, that was wrong. There we go. To G. Then it's just a 2/5 in G. A minor 7. And then a 2/5 in E. F sharp minor, B7 to E major. Then the 5 of F minor just to pull us back, C7, and then we're back at F. F, B flat, 5, 2, 5, 1, E to 1, 4. The ending is kind of cool. We get to that 4 chord, and then it switches to 4 minor, which if you're kind of new to the tune, or need something just quick, just switch from B flat to B flat minor pen, then drop down to C minor pen, a B diminished 7 arpeggio, C minor, B diminished 7 arpeggio, and then you're back to a 2/5 in A flat, B flat, E flat to A flat, or you could just back to the scale. Um, that's essentially it. It's a lot harder than it sounds. But anyway, any questions on that, let me know. Check that out. And, we can go in different directions with this song. This is one of the best songs to practice. It's a classic tune. It's one of the hardest tunes. It's like a staple. So this is one of the best songs to really spend a lot of time working on. I'm still working on it myself. It's like kind of like a lifetime process to get good at this song. So cool. That's it for today. And we'll see you next time. Thanks.